I'm Corey Wright, star of Wright Brothers Communications Podcast. I've got a very important announcement for everybody. Make sure you mark your calendars this October 9th through 11th for this upcoming CAR Expo. Casey and I are going to be featured speakers at this year's Tech Tuesday. Now, it's an extra registration, so be sure you register, and be sure you register for Tech Tuesday. We hope to see all of you there. And as always, thanks for watching.
Well, hi there, I'm Casey.
And I'm Corey.
And we are the Wright Brothers. I'd like to welcome you to our October podcast.
Absolutely, and this month we're actually going to be doing things a little bit differently with our podcast. Typically we pick a topic that's going to help you out and something to do with technology in your business. And this month we're going to kind of take the technology out and get at something that's more at the heart of what realtors are looking for today.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you talk to realtors right now, and we often do, one of the things you find out more than anything, the problem that's facing them right now is how to deal with the messy topic of a price reduction.
Absolutely. So being around so many agents all the time, what we did is we actually asked agents what their best practices are for dealing with the price reduction. We've compiled it into one great podcast. This might be our best podcast yet, which isn't really saying too much. We didn't set the bar too high there, but we've got a lot of great information that I think you'll really find helpful, so let's dive in. Alright, so dealing with price reductions, like I said, we talked to a lot of agents to really figure out what they're doing that's helping them out in price reductions, and that's what we want to bring to you today. And what we really found is that there's three main things that agents are doing to really help them through this process. So we'll run through each of these one at a time. The first one is to build in the possibility of a price reduction up front. In essence, don't wait until you need a price reduction to start talking about a price reduction.
Yeah, and I think this is really important. You know, one of the best ideas we heard on the way to do this, I thought, was two-tiered pricing. And I thought this was a really unique concept. And basically what this agent does is they will take, at the point they list the home, they'll say, okay, we're going to list, say, at $400,000, but then if the home hasn't sold within 2 months, we're going to sell it at this price. So essentially they build in those two tiers, they build the price reduction into the original listing agreement. They don't offer it as an option, they just put that into the original listing agreement, and it's in writing. So it's so much easier 2 months down the road to just go down and say, hey, time to reduce our price.
Absolutely, and two main points here. Number one is get it in writing. Sellers have a way of conveniently forgetting that you talked about the two-tiered pricing. If it's in writing, it's much easier to address. And then secondly would be talk about your second price reduction at the time of your first price reduction. If it goes well, if they've accepted the price reduction and the two-tiered pricing, set now a third tier so that if it's still on the market in a couple months or a month, whatever your time limit is, then now that price reduction, that second price reduction is just as smooth and easy as the first. Right. Now the second thing that we found that agents are doing, and this was probably the biggest consensus answer, is that they really found out that they were playing the role of grief counselor when dealing with the price reduction. And if they were effectively able to do that, then they were effectively able to walk the seller through the thing. And really they found out that there's 4 stages of grief that they had to walk most sellers through. The first one being denial, then anger, then bargaining, and then acceptance. And that when they were able to really know where their client was and walk them through it, they were most easily able to get the price reduction.
Right, the famous 4 stages of grief. You know, I think that it is important, though, to understand your role there is that you need to just walk them through this lovingly. You know, they don't have access to the same information you do. Your clients don't know how tough this market is. I mean, they hear the media reports. They don't know how good the competition is. And I think it's important that you be lovingly honest with them. And also understand that there's a lot of lifestyle considerations that go into this, peripheral, that have nothing to do with the sell of the home. Things like, I mean, a $40,000 price reduction might mean they don't get to move to the area they wanted to. It might mean that they don't get to send their kids to the schools they wanted to. It might mean they don't get the car they want. I mean, there's very real life considerations here. And I think it's important for an agent. An agent can't really do anything about those, but you need to be there for them. You need to understand that stuff, listen to them about that, and move them through that. Be lovingly honest and say, look, I understand all that stuff, but you really do need to make the best decision for your primary investment right now.
Absolutely. And then the third thing that we found that really was able to help agents out is to quantify the landscape. Essentially to build your case numerically rather than emotionally. Try and take the emotions out of it and really show them the numbers of what a price reduction is going to do for them. And we found out that there's 3 main things that you can focus on here. The first one being focus on the return on investment.
Yeah, this is huge. You know, I think a lot of agents forget about this and a lot of clients forget about this, but if you've been on the home if you've had your home for say 7 or 8 years, you've made a lot of money on that house. I mean, through the big real estate boom of a few years ago, you might have made $150,000, $200,000 on your home over this past couple of years. And if you can show that to your clients, it's a lot easier to leave that $30,000 or $40,000 they might have lost over the last year on the table.
Absolutely. The second thing to focus on when you're building your case numerically is to focus on current trends.
Yeah, no, that's really important. I think you need to show them, I think the main thing to quantify here is that, look, patience is not a virtue in this market. Every day you are on the market right now, you're losing money. Homes are depreciating in value right now, and so the name of the game right now is to get off the market as quickly as possible.
Right, and then the third thing to focus on is focus on the homes that are selling right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's, a lot of times clients have a tendency to focus on the homes that are on the market. You know, they point to, well, my neighbor is priced $30,000 more than me. Yeah, your neighbor's on the market, so are you. That's not what you're shooting for. You're shooting for selling, and you need to look at the homes that are selling, and that's what you need to measure yourself against. And I think a really good way to do this is to look at the percentage of homes that are selling in any given month and share that percentage with your clients. So if you can really clearly show them that, look, only 7% of the homes that were on the market last month sold. We need to be in the top 7% of all homes in our competition class if we want to even have a chance at selling in this market.
Absolutely. So the three things that we really found from agents all over the business, the things that are helping them in their price reduction are: first, build in the possibility of a price reduction ahead of time. Second, understand your role as grief counselor and be willing and prepared to take that on with your clients. And then lastly, to quantify the landscape and build your case numerically to try and help to hopefully remove the emotions from the decision and make it more of a numerical and strategic decision to make the price reduction. Now do those three things and hopefully your next price reduction will go as easy and smooth as possible. We'd like to thank you for joining us as always. We're going to now show you our upcoming publications for this next month. Hopefully we lived up to the expectations of being the best podcast that we've had yet. And I'm sure that if we did, it's only because none of this information was actually our own. It was from you guys, the agents out there, and just sharing your information. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see all of you at the upcoming CAR Expo.